Hi guys, you know what time it is. Well, actually, you may not know what time it is, but it's the Real Talk Sports Show. We're coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Sports Show. Guys, this is what happened. You overstay your welcome. So we had some nice lights over here, but they've turned the lights off. So bottom line is, guys, I want to give you a quick recap. We were here at the Hope Forum, the Hope Global Forum. It's been done each and every year by John Hope Bryant, and we've been here pretty much all day. They said we were trying to get you guys a full show today, but unfortunately, we cannot. We're going to try to get somewhere we get a little bit more light if we can. Try to find that spot. I'm gonna move around here and see if we can get you some more light, and hopefully and prayerfully you can see me a whole lot better. Hey, so it's really been a tremendous day here. Get a chance to see actually 4 commissioners for professional sports here at this event. And if you guys go to our Instagram page, you'll see a quick little clip of that. And I'll have more of that as we go forward throughout this week. But yeah, I just wanted to say hello. Appreciate you guys for staying with us and tuning in. Like I said, we're going to bring you some more good stuff. Again, we're at the Hope Global Forum. Try to get you a little bit more light. It's done by John Hope Bryant, and he's been doing it for, I think, over a decade now, if I'm not mistaken. And like I said, man, he brings in some of the great movers and shakers from around the world in finance and sports and health. It's just a tremendous event, and we've been covering it for the last 4 or 5 years. And like I said, it's been great stuff. And today, like I said, we're able to actually interview John and actually be able to see, like I said, 4 professional sports commissioners all on the same platform, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, you'll never see it anywhere else. Like, so I'm getting a little bit more light here. We should be in a place of a bit more light in just a moment. I think we're getting there, guys. Anyway, like I say again, I just wanted to kind of do a quick little recap because we've been here, We've been here pretty much all day long. And I didn't want to not do the show because last week I had an issue with my blood pressure. We're still dealing with that, but thanks be unto God, we're still here and able to broadcast to you guys. I want to say this really quickly. I just want to say thank you again to all those of you guys who have stayed with us here on the broadcast, ups and downs and sideways. Thank you so much as we get to the close of 2024. I just want to say thank you for that. We'll do that more as we get to later shows, good Lord willing, towards the end of the year. But yeah, man, I just wanted to kind of do a quick little recap because we were off last week. We were not on at all. So I said, I can't go 2 weeks not being on the air. You might have seen earlier, as a matter of fact, I'll ask you to go to our YouTube page or go to our Facebook page. You'll actually see I live stream a little bit of the 4 commissioners being on the air at the same time. So you'll get a little clip of that, and it will really be good if you check that out. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty about what's going on with sports right now. Here in Atlanta, I know it's my fault. Many of you know I predicted that the Falcons were a team that was going to go deep into the playoffs. They had a quarterback who's a veteran guy. I had a little bit of concern about Kirk's ability to maybe do all he could do. I wasn't sure how healthy he was, but I was taking it for the Falcons' word that the guy was completely healthy. The Kirk Cousins experiment has been really a failure over the last month and a half. And I'm going to tell you something that I found out as I was doing kind of a little bit of an investigation on this. As well as the Falcons looked in the first 9 games when they were 6-3, here's something I really looked at and I couldn't believe. Do you realize that if you really look at Kirk Cousins' body of work, this is very interesting. Kirk is 5-7 against everybody not named Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you really go look at his stats, there's another thing that's kind of staggering. Kirk threw a total of, I believe, 8 touchdown passes in those 2 games against Tampa Bay. He has a total of 17 touchdown passes and 13 interceptions. So if you take the 2 Tampa Bay games out, Kirk's overall performance really has been mediocre this year. What we're really looking at with Kirk Cousins outside of the Tampa Bay games, like you said, 2-0 against Tampa Bay, 8 touchdowns, and I think a great total of about 800 yards. You take those 2 games out, Kirk is 5-7. He's got only 9 touchdowns against 13 interceptions. Think about that for a second. Take out Tampa Bay, he's 9 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. You know what the crazy thing is? That actually I think is worse than Desmond Ridder, who, by the way, the Falcons will have to take on here as they go to Oakland, to Las Vegas Raiders. And wouldn't it be just the ultimate Falcons knucklehead thing to do is to go out there and lose to the Raiders and the quarterback they got rid of and paid over $100 million to bring in Kirk Cousins? I mean, I'm just this team, just the nonsense that we get from this Falcons team is unbelievable. And I think, really, to be honest with you, some of it is because of the fact that the Falcons are a little snarky. And that's just the realities of it. I mean, a lot of people, veteran Falcons reporters, have been almost kind of shadow banned from covering the Falcons this year. I'm being one of them. Haven't been able to cover the Falcons since the Coach Smith regime. Now, maybe people can say, brother, maybe there's something wrong with you. Maybe so. I've asked the Falcons to give me a reason why we're not credentialed, and we've not heard back from them yet. Hopefully, either we'll hear from them or they'll let us get a credential before the year's over. But yeah, man, this team it just looks like the Dan Quinn era revisited. And what I say by that, if you remember when Dan Quinn came to town, it was the same situation. The Falcons jumped out and they won their first 5 games under Dan Quinn, and then they turned around and lost 3 of the next. They lost 5 of the next 8 and ended up 8-8 for the season. Am I doing that right? No, excuse me. I'm sorry. They were 3-8 for the remainder of the season. Their next 11 games ended up 8-8. Now, of course, next year they redeemed themselves and went to the Super Bowl. Started off slow. The people talking about getting rid of Coach Quinn, but they were going to turn it around. And ironically, from that staff that Coach Quinn had, almost all those guys in that staff are head coaches somewhere, including Raheem Morris. The problem I have with Raheem and the current coaching staff right now, the Falcons, is that it's more that same thing from Dan Quinn, that everything's okay all the time. There's nothing wrong. We're happy with who we got. We got the right players on the field. Well, there's a disconnect somewhere. Some of it, I believe, is the fault of the OC, who continues to call plays that don't take full advantage of what the Falcons do best. For example, you have a quarterback that is a stud with the play action fake. And I heard this on another show, and I was stunned. Do you know that the Falcons have only run 8% of their offensive plays have been play action fake? Which is, if you think about this is the whole reason why we kind of brought in Kirk Cousins, paid all the money, because we said we already have a really good running attack. And you had 2 backs, not one, but 2 of our backs, both have had 1,000-yard seasons. The Falcons have been in the top 5 in the league in rushing the last few years. So we're thinking, okay, great. We got an offensive line, knows how to run the ball. We get a quarterback that can throw the ball accurately, and voila, we have a playoff team. And certainly, for most of the first 9 games, we saw at least a reasonable facsimile of that. But evidently, the Falcons have been exposed, and primarily, to me, what it looks like is poor play calling on offense, poor execution, because the Falcons have a ton of penalty. And last but not least, here's a secret. It looks like Kirk Cousins can no longer drive the ball for intermediate or deep passes. That's what it really seems like. It looks like that the fastball, the zipper is going off the fastball, which, as you know, in the NFL, that is critical. The other thing, too, is that we were told that Kirk Cousins, one of the things that we're getting with him is they always call him an elite processor, which means that he's got to go through his progressions and always seem to make the right throw to the right target. Well, we've seen just the opposite of that. I mean, just the opposite. What we're seeing with Kirk Cousins is a guy that looks like a rookie. Just ill-timed throws into coverage, and then what really hurt was he short armed a couple of balls to receivers that were wide open. So to me, what it looks like from Kirk Cousins is a guy that is either not completely healthy or, unfortunately, might be suffering from what happened to Matt Ryan his last year with the Colts, where, like I said, the fastball was gone. He couldn't drive the ball anymore. And so for me, I hate to say this, man, but they're going to have to look pretty soon at the idea of bringing in the rookie, Penix. I mean, you've lost 4 straight games and you're in danger of being out of the playoff picture completely. Now, don't be wrong. They still have the ability at 6-7 if they win their next 4 games to put themselves in a position where they'd be 10-7 and pretty much a lock to go to the playoffs because they hold all the tiebreakers. But do you really think this Falcons team, based on what we've seen, is going to be able to beat? Really, it seems like they didn't beat anybody. And remember, on the docket, they still have to play Washington in Washington on the road. So I don't know about this Falcons team, guys. I think that they're going to have to make a change somewhere to get things done. All right, the other update we have for you really, really quickly. Hawks had one of their best weeks in a long time, 6-1. Now, I will say they got shellacked on Sunday evening by the former finalist, NBA finalist, the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic was an absolute beast, came in here and dropped 48 on the Hawks and a triple-double. Of course, now the Hawks did not have Jalen Johnson, and Trae Young, unfortunately, decided not to have one of his better games. And so the Hawks were beaten by 30, 141 to 111 on their home court, which was, it really was like the cold water splash because, like I said, this team had played really it's the best basketball we've seen over a week in a long time with this team. They were 6-0. They beat the team that had the best record in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers, twice. They knocked off the Boston Celtics in Boston without Trae Young. They knocked off the Lakers in a thrilling overtime game where they withstood a combined 77 points from LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And you were thinking, hey, we've got something here. This team looked really, really good. Now, again, against the Nuggets, they kind of regressed. But if this team can continue to have Trae be more of a facilitator and use the athleticism of Jalen Johnson, first-round pick, Mr. Alicia Shea. Like I said, this team can go somewhere. And the other thing, too, is they now have a bona fide killer off the bench. A guy who was in the running for Sixth Man of the Year, DeAndre Hunter, somehow going to the bench has rejuvenated him and made him the type of player we thought we were getting when they drafted him number 4 overall a couple of years ago. But DeAndre Hunter has been an absolute beast. He's averaging almost a point a minute. He's somewhere between 18 and 19 points a game, but he's only playing probably about 24 to 25 minutes a game. That harkens back to my day. There was a guy that played for the Detroit Pistons named Vinnie Johnson. They called him the microwave because he did the same thing. He came off the bench and just hit bucket after bucket. So the Hawks have the foundation of a team that can at least get into the latter rounds. Because believe it or not, the Hawks right now, if the season stopped now, they would actually avoid the play-in game. Because right now the Hawks were, when I last checked before the loss to Denver, were 5th overall. How about that? So like I said, the Hawks have the potential here. It's just going to see if they can build on this. Like I said, Jalen Johnson, the budding all-star. Trae Young has turned into a point guard that now is more the facilitator, which is good because right now his shooting is terrible. He has the worst shooting percentage since he's been in the NBA. Normally he's at least like a 42% shooter, both 2 point, 3 points combined. Right now he's shooting right around, I think, 37 or 38%. And he's been terrible from 3-point range. Even though he had a clutch bucket to win the game the other night in overtime against the Lakers, he's really been hurting from the 3-point range. So hopefully we'll get that straightened out. But the main thing, if he continues to be a facilitator, in the words of Clyde Frazier, disher more than a swisher, then in fact the Hawks have the ability to make a run into the playoffs. Like I mentioned earlier, for those of you just jumping on, the Falcons are in trouble. I think they need to bring in Michael Penix. I think that Kirk Cousins is in a situation where he is where he has kind of lost the fastball. So, and to me, United, if you can't drive the ball in the NFL, you got big trouble. So that's where the Falcons are. Like I said, the Hawks, fortunately, are doing well. The big shout out to Atlanta United, who made an unprecedented, I shouldn't say unprecedented, unexpected playoff run, getting things turned around there. It's a big shout out to Atlanta United and all the things they're doing to hold up the name of pro sports here in Atlanta. Last but not least, I want to give a big shout out to some of the high school teams we covered this year, who now all of them are out. Jonesboro, who made it to the second round. We appreciate them. Second time in the last 4 years they've done so. Big shout out to Jonesboro. And also the Jonesboro Mighty Marching Cardinals, their band actually performed in the Macy's parade and turned it out. I talked to people who watched. They said, man, they was like watching an HBCU college band. So big shout out to the Jonesboro Mighty Marching Cardinals, their band there. Also want to give a big shout out to Southwest DeKalb, shaking the embers, bringing back the memories of the great Southwest DeKalb teams when they were coached by the legendary coach Buck Godfrey. Got into the second round of the postseason before being knocked out in their game. Also want to give a big shout out to the folks over at Ola High School. Ola High School, my good buddy, the Wade family. They had their team have a tremendous season, only one loss, and they went farther in the playoffs than ever. They got to the second round, but unfortunately got knocked off in the second round as well. And last but not least, I want to give a big shout out to the Jaguars of Stevenson. They went the farthest. They got all the way to the semifinals, to the quarterfinals before being knocked out. So big shout out to Coach Jelks and his staff and all the players there at Stevenson High School. So big shout out to those guys and the season that they've had. The last team representing the South Side now, South Metro, is a team that just 2 years ago won the state title. I'm talking about the Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes is still in it. They are going to go to the finals. And so big shout out to the guys over at Langston Hughes and all the stuff they're doing there. Like I said, remember in 2022, they won the state title there. So shout out to Langston Hughes and look forward to them hopefully winning another championship to bring us over to the South Metro side of town. As you can see here in the background, I'm at the Hope Global Forum. It's a tremendous thing done by John Hope Bryant. This man has done the incredible. If you look on my Instagram page, which is Real Talk Sports 7, I'll pop that up there for those of you who are watching. Real Talk Sports, the number 7. We're actually that on any social media. Let's flip it up on the screen so you might see it. Hang on. There it is right there. So Real Talk Sports, the number 7, all social media platforms. So John Hope Bryant, this man has really done something that, other networkers would just be in awe. First of all, he allows us to come in here at no charge, then of itself. And where people are fed, we get lunch, we get dinner, we get snacks in between by some of the vendors and sponsors. But more importantly, this man had on the docket today, not 1, not 2, but 4 commissioners of professional sports here in this country all at the same time. He had Roger Goodell from the NFL, and I'm drawing a blank on the gentleman who runs the Major League Baseball, NASCAR. Mr. NASCAR President, please forgive me because you guys have been very gracious to us to cover NASCAR, and of course the commissioner of the NBA. We're all here on the same platform. And here's the cool thing: listen, watching these guys interact and talk, there was really. I know some of this stuff is these guys are paid a lot of money, so they know how to connect with people, but there seemed to be a certain level of transparency, and I would say even to some degree, a level of almost humility as these guys talk to an audience that, predominantly African-American, being here in Atlanta, and they all were unafraid to openly, because this is being broadcast all over the world, to openly talk about how each one of their leagues is firmly committed to the idea of diversity. I know people hate this whole concept of DEI, so let me not even use that so people don't turn off. But bottom line is what they understand is that they are trying to reach a broad range of people, understanding that to grow their brand, they have to reach people of diverse colors. They have to reach men and women. And these guys have said all of their sports are committed to do so. And especially the other thing that was pretty cool to kind of hear, which we knew already, all the sports are looking to expand their global brand. And Roger Goodell said it may not be in his lifetime, but he says he certainly expects the NFL to have teams playing in a regular NFL season that are from overseas. Now, like I said again, he said not in his lifetime, but I don't know. This is to be expected. NASCAR said they might go worldwide following F1, Formula One. Now, again, as the president pointed out, but NASCAR is a little bit different because, you have to bring cars over and do a lot of different things. But he says that is something they're looking to do, is to expand and bring NASCAR around the world. Of course, the NBA, it's worldwide. And the commissioner, I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. It's ridiculous. But anyway, commissioner talked about how many international athletes play in the NBA. And he, too, talked about the idea of having the NBA expand globally. So now these guys, everybody's looking to have a bigger platform because these deals they're signing with media company and having media rights are getting insane. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the NBA signed a deal to the tune of somewhere around $7 billion, which some of the other commissioners said, that baseball commissioners said, we're kind of envious of you on that. But the bottom line is that all professional sports in the United States are looking to expand their brand and their platform worldwide. So what does that mean? That means there are going to be more opportunities for American athletes to have a world stage, which means that there's going to be more income for them. But also what it means that there's going to have to be more financial responsibility, which is the other part of what John Hope Bryant does very, very well. He talks about financial literacy. And in this same forum, there are also a lot of people here to bring to the common man, as well as the athlete and people of money, the idea of how to manage your money, how to maximize your resources so that your money can generate not just more money, but generate generational wealth and legacy and impact in the community around you. So like I said, the great stuff here. You guys will see more of it as we go along. Like I said, again, just frequently check our YouTube page and also our Instagram page, and you guys will see clips and so forth of what we did. All right, guys, like I said, we're going to wrap it up tonight. A little All right, guys, we're back. We lost power momentarily. Sorry about that. We appreciate all you guys that have locked in and tuned in to us. And I got to say this. I appreciate you guys that watch us from overseas because I understand from my feedback on YouTube, especially, we got guys tuning in from Egypt. I see you guys wrote something here in Egyptian. I can't read that, unfortunately. I have to get my Google Translator later. But again, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in and being with us on the broadcast, especially tonight. We're at the Hobo Globe Forum. And that's, you can hear that ring in the background. What happened was I misplaced one of my other phones. As now it's hooked up to the internet. It goes, I'm here. So I found it. Like I said, guys, appreciate you very much. Remember, follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J Sim. Remember, I always tell you, man, if you don't know the Lord, you need to get to know him. And it's real simple. Have a relationship with your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Repent of your sins, believe in him, and 2 great things happen. Number 1, become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number 2, an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means you now go to God like a heavenly parent, asking for anything you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, they go to that happy place called heaven, where there's none of the following: no pain, no pandemic, no bad people anywhere. You never get old, you never die, you never cry. And you avoid it, and that's the place called hell, where all the bad people and the demons are, and you're locked out. from God, from Jesus Christ, and all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, guys, until the next time we get back together again, thank you so much for tuning in to the Real Talk Sport broadcast. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whichever may apply. So long. Take care.